Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Today we're diving into the roadblocks that the electric vehicle revolution is facing. Beyond the current market turbulence, a set of formidable challenges looms large. From the practical limits of full electrification to critical supply chain issues for battery metals and the evolving strategies of major automakers, these hurdles are substantial. Buckle up as we explore these pressing issues. Here are the 6 key points you need to know. Number 6. The challenges of achieving full electrification. Let's start with the idea of full electrification. Despite the buzz and optimism about EVs as the future of transportation, achieving complete electrification remains a distant dream. The initial excitement over EV adoption has hit a significant roadblock, revealing substantial obstacles. One major issue is cost. Although EVs were initially hailed as the future, their high price tags still deter many buyers. The middle class, once seen as the driving force behind the EV revolution, is not adopting electric vehicles as expected. Range anxiety, difficulties in finding charging stations, and the high purchase price are key factors in this reluctance. Globally, many regions lack the infrastructure necessary for a massive shift to electric vehicles. In areas with unreliable electricity, moving to EVs is impractical. Reliable electricity access is a prerequisite for widespread EV adoption. Furthermore, the environmental impact of battery production and electricity generation for charging is a growing concern. Experts suggest EVs may never exceed 30% of the global market. Thus, the dream of full electrification remains just that, a dream, with the push for EVs creating new challenges rather than solving existing ones. Number 5. Insufficient charging infrastructure. A major obstacle to widespread EV adoption is the inadequate charging infrastructure. The current network in the US is far from sufficient, with fewer than 40,000 chargers available compared to the estimated 180,000 needed by the end of the decade. Automakers are attempting to address this shortfall by planning to install 30,000 new chargers and adopting Tesla's standards. However, this effort is still insufficient. The logistics of expanding charging infrastructure are complex. Imagine being on a road trip with a low battery and having to search for a working charger, only to find it malfunctioning or out of service. Many charging stations face reliability issues due to maintenance problems, software glitches, and vandalism. The high costs associated with installing and maintaining chargers will likely be passed on to consumers through higher EV prices or increased taxes and subsidies. Additionally, the electricity needed for these chargers puts a strain on our current grid, which isn't equipped to handle the increased demand. Despite advancements in technology, the infrastructure challenge remains a significant barrier to a fully electric future. Number 4. Slowed growth in EV sales. At one point, electric vehicles seemed unstoppable, fueled by enthusiasm from environmentalists and tech enthusiasts. However, that momentum has significantly waned, leading to a potential market downturn. EV sales growth has markedly slowed. The initial excitement has diminished, and average consumers are less eager to switch. Despite promises of lower prices, many EVs remain expensive compared to gasoline vehicles. Although incentives and tax breaks help, they don't bridge the price gap for many middle-class buyers. Range anxiety is another concern. While high-end EVs offer impressive ranges, more affordable models struggle to provide sufficient mileage. Long trips require careful planning around charging stations, a challenge compounded by inadequate infrastructure. EVs also face practicality issues. For those in apartments or without easy access to charging, owning an EV can be less convenient. Additionally, EV performance in extreme weather conditions can be problematic. Given these factors, slowing EV sales growth is expected. With the market saturated by early adopters and challenges in convincing the average consumer, there are concerns about a potential market crash, leading to substantial losses for automakers investing heavily in EV technology and infrastructure. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore number 3, the impending crisis in battery metals. The surging demand for electric vehicles is placing enormous pressure on the supply chain for essential battery metals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. EVs have become the dominant consumers of these metals, surpassing other high-tech applications such as smartphones. This surge has led to sharp price increases and supply shortages, with cobalt's price nearly tripling since early 2021. The Democratic Republic of Congo, the world's leading cobalt producer, holds a central position in the market. However, Geopolitical and ethical issues surrounding mining practices add layers of complexity to the supply chain. The push towards lithium iron phosphate (LFP) batteries, aimed at reducing reliance on cobalt and nickel, has exacerbated the strain on lithium supplies. While this shift decreases cobalt dependency, it merely shifts the pressure to other segments of the battery metal market. The industry now faces a critical challenge, ensuring stable and ethical sources of raw materials to support the growth of the EV market. Without addressing these supply chain vulnerabilities, ambitious EV adoption targets may falter, potentially resulting in higher consumer costs and slower market expansion. Number 2. Automakers reconsidering rapid electrification. Major automakers are rethinking their electrification strategies, indicating a slowdown in the rapid shift to electric vehicles. Companies like Ford, Chevy, and several European manufacturers are reassessing their plans, revealing that accelerating the EV transition isn't as feasible or profitable as initially thought. Initially, the excitement around EVs drove automakers to invest billions in new models, factories, and marketing. However, the anticipated future of EVs is not materializing as expected. Profitability remains a major hurdle due to high battery costs, extensive R&D expenses, and slow infrastructure development. Ford has postponed several ambitious projects, opting to reevaluate its strategy rather than quickly introducing new electric models. Chevy is scaling back its electrification goals for a more cautious approach. The market hasn't grown as quickly as hoped, with high costs and inadequate charging infrastructure deterring consumers. European automakers are also scaling back due to high production costs and fragmented charging networks. This shift highlights the complexities of a full-scale EV transition. The initial hype hasn't translated into practical solutions, and automakers are realizing that a smooth transition to EVs is much more challenging than anticipated. Number 1. The environmental impact of EV battery production. Electric vehicles are praised for their potential to cut greenhouse gas emissions, but their battery production has significant environmental impacts. Extracting and processing lithium, cobalt, and nickel, essential for EV batteries, causes considerable environmental damage. Lithium extraction, for instance, is water-intensive and can deplete and contaminate local water sources, as seen in Chile's Atacama Desert. Cobalt mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo raises ethical concerns and leads to severe environmental harm, including improper waste disposal and soil contamination. Additionally, the energy-intensive refining processes for these metals contribute to greenhouse gas emissions, partially negating the emissions savings from EVs over their operational lifetimes. As EV and battery demand grows, so do these environmental impacts unless more sustainable practices are adopted. While companies are investing in recycling technologies and exploring alternative battery chemistries, these solutions are still developing. A truly green automotive future requires not only promoting EVs, but also advancing cleaner, more sustainable battery technologies and supply chains. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated on the latest vehicle news and get notified about our upcoming videos. Also, please leave a comment below. See you next time.